Hi guys, this is going to be my story about how I went into preterm labor at 25 weeks and 3 days. The date was June 26th. What happened was I was at work. I worked at a restaurant, and while I was at work I had some back pain, but I didn't think anything of it because I had back pain basically my whole pregnancy. And then I had to go to the bathroom because most of you know when you're pregnant you have to pee like all the time. So I went to the bathroom, I peed, and then when I was walking back to the front of the restaurant, it felt like I just peed myself after I just peed, which I knew it wasn't pee because obviously you can tell the difference between when you go to the bathroom and when you're not going to the bathroom, and I just went to the bathroom and emptied my bladder, so I knew that it wasn't pee. So much liquid came out that it soaked through my underwear, through my pants, and made a ring around my pants. I was a little concerned. I wasn't too concerned yet though, because I had no other pains. And so then I went and asked my aunt, because I worked with my aunt. I asked her, does this happen? And she was like, you just peed yourself, like you're fine. But something told me something wasn't right, because I just went to the bathroom and I just didn't think I peed myself. So I texted my mom and I was like, listen Mom, this is what just happened. I'm not sure what's going on. So I texted her that, and then she freaked out, was like, you need to come home right now. And so I waited until the end of my shift, because this happened at 6:30 and the end of my shift was 7:30. So I waited till the end of my shift and then I went home. So my mom and me talked about it, and then we decided that it would be a good idea to call my doctor. So I called my doctor and I told her what happened and what was going on, and I'm still feeling perfectly fine at this moment. I don't notice anything is different. The only thing that ever happened was I had liquid come out of me. So after telling my doctor everything, she said that it's probably nothing, doesn't seem like it's anything serious, but she wanted me to just go up to the hospital to get checked out just in case. At this point, I was still with my baby's father. So me, him, and my mom went up to the hospital, got checked in, and then they put me on the monitors, and I was waiting in the triage room. The nurse left, and then she came back, and she was looking at the machine that monitors your contractions, and she looked really concerned, and I didn't really understand why. And then she was like, you know you're having contractions, right? And I was like, no, because honestly I had no idea. But after she told me what the contractions were, when I had one, she told me you're having one, and then I understood I was having contractions. But I just didn't know what they were, so I didn't know I was having contractions. Basically they weren't painful contractions. It was just my stomach would get super, super, super tight and tingly. I didn't know that that's what a contraction was, because there was no pain associated with it. So after she told me that those were contractions, she looked really concerned, and so they hooked me up to an IV for fluids, because she said sometimes you can get contractions when you're dehydrated. So she put me on the IV fluids to try to hydrate me while we waited for the doctor to come in. And then the doctor came in, and she was all happy and good, and I didn't think anything serious was happening, maybe just dehydration. So then the doctor asked me what was going on, and I explained to her again what happened, and she decided to do an internal exam and an ultrasound. First she did the internal exam, and she was really, when I tell you this doctor was super happy and talkative, she was super happy and talkative. And then even while she was starting to get everything set up to go do the internal exam, she was all cheery and happy. And then as soon as she looked inside there to see what was going on, she got really silent, which most people know when a doctor turns silent, it's not good. And then she came out, she did an ultrasound, and she didn't say anything. She was completely silent now. She did an ultrasound, looked at the baby, and she said baby's head down. And then after she did the ultrasound, she said she's just gonna stick her fingers in to feel around. So I was like, okay. So she stuck her fingers in, her face expression changed again, and then she when she was finished with everything. She wrapped everything up. Then my boyfriend and my mom, she brought them back in, and she said, "You're 4 centimeters dilated, 70% effaced, and in labor." As soon as she said that, I started crying. My mom started crying. Then a lot of things happened really quickly. I wasn't allowed to get up, so they wheeled me on the bed that I was in, crying hysterically, to a labor and delivery room. In a matter of like 5 minutes, I was catheterized, I was given steroid shots, and I was hooked up to the magnesium drip to try to stop the labor. And I had to sign all these papers while crying, and I didn't understand what was going on. After everything got all set up, a doctor came in and talked to me and said that this baby could be born within the next 3 days. They didn't think I had much time. They didn't think he was going to wait. They didn't think it was going to stop. So they were telling me to prepare myself for my son to be born, obviously extremely premature, and they were telling me that the chances weren't very good for him. So I was very upset. Probably the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. I was on the magnesium drip for 48 hours, and the contractions did stop after the 48 hours. They didn't stop in the first 24 hours. It took the full 48 hours, and they did stop. And then they took me off the magnesium drip, and the contractions did not continue. Taken off the magnesium, I was put on Precardia, which is a blood pressure drug, but it's also been shown to help stop preterm labor. They don't know for sure if it really works, but I think it worked for me. I was put on it at first every 6 hours. So this is 3 days in the hospital. I was in labor and delivery wing for those 3 days. They transferred me up to the antepartum wing, where I spent the next 3 weeks on hospital bed rest. For the first week when I was in antepartum, I wasn't allowed to get out of bed to use the bathroom or shower or anything. I was basically in bed like a vegetable, and people had to come and my mom had to come and sponge bath me, and honestly it was like the most degrading feeling, knowing that I couldn't move and like people were washing me. I don't know. It was absolutely horrible. I cried a lot during that first week, and then after that, my doctors decided that they could be more lenient because nothing was changing and everything was pretty good and stable. So I was allowed to get up to use only the bathroom, and I was allowed to shower like every other day, but it had to be a quick shower, and that was it. Other than that, I had to still be in the bed in the hospital, and being in the hospital for a total of 3 weeks was extremely hard. And it's extremely boring. It was like the worst 3 weeks of my life. I was there alone at night, and I'd have to wait for my mom to come up when she works all day, so I'd be sitting there alone until like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then she'd only be able to stay till like 7 or 8 because visiting hours end. And then I would be alone and just sitting in a bed in a hospital watching TV for 3 weeks straight. It was horrible. I'm really thankful for my family and for all the support that I have from them, because if it wasn't for them, I would have been sitting in the hospital all by myself for basically 3 weeks straight. I'm very thankful for my family and my friends, which I lost a lot of friends after becoming pregnant, but for the friends that did stick by me, I'm very thankful for them because they helped me get through that really hard time. Okay, so after I was 28 weeks and 1 day, my doctors decided that it would be safe for me to do bed rest at home. So I was released from the hospital, which was the greatest feeling ever, just to be released from the hospital. I didn't care if I had to be on bed rest still. I just wanted to go home. So I was released from the hospital at 28 weeks and 1 day to continue bed rest at home. I was at home until I delivered or until I was 37 weeks. And all this time I'm on Precardia, which I had to take Precardia around the clock every 4 hours, so that meant even in the middle of the night I had to set an alarm and I had to get up and I had to take this medicine. For like 13 weeks before he was even born, I was not sleeping through the night already. So I mean, that was good because it kind of got me ready to not sleep through the night and got me used to it. And I was not allowed to do anything still. At home I was allowed to lay on the couch, watch TV all day, and then go upstairs to bed, basically. But being at home was a lot better because I had more company. I wasn't sitting in a hospital, you know. Just being home is better in general. than being in hospital. So I spent the next about 8 weeks at home on bed rest before I went into actual active labor and had my son. This whole thing happened during the summer too. So this started June and I was on bed rest until I had him September 12th. So my entire last summer before I was a mom, I spent on bed rest, and I didn't get to do a single thing. I didn't get to go shopping for anything for him. I didn't get to have a baby shower for him because I wasn't allowed to get off bed rest. So I missed out on a lot, and I spent a lot of nights crying because of the fact that I was sitting at home not being able to do anything while my baby's father was out partying and just doing whatever he wanted to do. And I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't go with him, and I was so angry at him for leaving me and not being there to support me through one of the hardest times of my life. It's still really hard for me to talk about everything because it was so emotionally draining and so hard on me. It was literally the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and I was so miserable and so sad. And I felt so alone and like I was doing it all by myself, which isn't supposed to be how it happens. And so I just thought, I didn't make this baby alone, so why am I the one who's suffering by myself with no support? But anyway, that is my story of what happened to me during my pregnancy, preterm labor at 25 weeks, and I was supposed to lose my baby. He was supposed to be born super prematurely. He wasn't supposed to make it as far as he did. He made it to 36 weeks and 4 days, and he wasn't supposed to make it that far. And I'm extremely thankful every single day that he did, because I don't know how I would have dealt with all the complications that would have come with him being born so prematurely. And I don't know if he would be here right now if he was born so prematurely. I'm extremely thankful to God every single day that my son did make it to almost full term and was born perfectly healthy. So that is my pregnancy story. I'll do another video for my labor and delivery story. And if you guys have any questions about me going into preterm labor, or if you're curious about anything, feel free to ask. I'd love to answer any questions that you have. But I guess that's it for now, so I guess I will talk to you guys for my next... So I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!